Hey out there in YouTube land, it's Kuda Slayer, aka Daytime Numbered Beast once again, and I thought I'd kind of do a little bit of a quick video talking about the subject of 3D printing and wargaming miniatures in general. Um, I have some kind of strong opinions about what I think 3D printers means for the hobbyist, and I'm not going to go into that very deeply here. I thought I'd do something a little bit different and kind of show some of the mistakes that I've made so far since I got into 3D printing. Uh, so far, just kind of show off some of my equipment that I have. I have a Creativity CR-10S FDM printer, and then I have as you can't see behind me, an Elegoo Saturn, and next to it is the Elegoo Mercury wash station. But so far, I've been having a lot of good luck with the Elegoo Saturn, which for right now I have to give my endorsement for, is is a pretty good bargain, or maybe not so much bargain, but a beginner's a printer, especially since it has one of the larger build areas available for the I want to say the consumer grade 3D printing. Um, and so far, this is one of the larger projects I've printed so far. It's a I'm sorry, Warhammer 40K Warhound Titan. Um, so far, it's kind of sitting on my other desk right now, looking kind of sad and crestfallen because I haven't gotten around to printing its legs yet. I'm waiting on some things to come in to help with the ventilation um, when I use my resin printer, and so far not really been able to get around to completing the rest of the parts on him. But so far, this has kind of been one of the more successful projects I've done so far. Um, basically, all the large parts. You can let's see, how did I do this? Because I remember I did both arms separately, well, together, and had the rear of the arms towards the build plate, and then had everything go down. Um, and if for beginners out there, if you're going to print something this large, I would really recommend you go over your settings on your printer and at least drop all your speeds of retraction, dipping and removing and all that. Drop all your speeds by at least a third to maybe even as far as a half, because that would solve a lot of problems, especially when you're dealing with extremely multiple layers of resin printing, as the arms here both represent. Um, and when you orientate anything, when you run your slicer, um, always kind of pick a side that is not going to be seen once everything's assembled. Like here, the head, the back of the head, have that pointing towards your build plate. Same with the back of the arm, the very like the well, not so much elbow, but the very back where the plasma coils would be here, or the back of the gun. They always have that going into your build plate, and just have everything build down straight from there. That really kind of helps hide some potential issues you might have while printing, and or maybe kind of marks that your supports might leave. Um, and the one big problem with this is with printing something this large, because the parts I got on here so far has got the separate arm here, separate arm here. There's a head, there's a main body under the shield here, the two shoulders, and then the two kind of rump pieces, in lack of a better term, um, uh, all kind of connect together to the main body, which again is under the shield here. Um, when you're printing these, you really are going to have to make a lot of compromises, especially on the subject of infill. If you're trying to save resin, um, this is particularly concerning because later on the only way to really assemble these kind of models is drill holes and use rods and such to have a better joints. And if there's any leftover resin in there, that's going to leak out on your table. That's going to be a health hazard for you. And definitely drain holes are your friend. And if you're not going to use drain holes, I would, unless you want to deal with loose resin being in your models during construction or later on as a display unit, you're at some point you're going to have to drain it out. So that's kind of one concern. Like I was saying, for picking an angle and to hide where the supports are going to go and everything. For the top shield here, I had the inside. It basically kind of looks almost like a big cashew. For the shell is, and basically have the build plate like here, and then have everything built up straight up, and then you have the curving pieces up here. That's kind of one good way of hiding, some of the little notches you get from supports. And as you can see, it kind of came out fairly nicely here. Let's see. If you've seen my other video on the dragon teeth obstacles, these are the icons I printed to decorate those and later projects. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. And the issue here is spacing. Even though the Elegoo Saturn can handle some fairly tight spacing and such, this didn't actually come out very well because even though I got these like barely a millimeter apart in spacing, the supports actually kind of started merging together as it was being printed. And it became very difficult to break these apart and keep them set in one piece when you separate them from supports. I later cut these down by half in number and spaced them out much greater and had a lot more success when I printed the second batch, and those came out much better. They get these. I think I found this on 3D Cults. It was for free, and fairly nice. You can adjust the size to whatever you want. I think originally it was originally came up about the size of your hand, and yeah, I mean this is almost perfect for what 3D printing was made for. Let's see. And finally, this is a kind of piece. I don't have any pictures of what the original attempts were look like, but this was a base for a larger statue I made for my spouse. And one of the big problems I had, this before I changed the speeds on my printer, is basically when this would try to print out, the bottom of the base would be to the build plate like this, and when I, after waiting a while and checking the results, there would be like this big, thick, almost like an Oreo cookie floating in the resin, and part of it is we're shaped like this. This is something else you're going to have to be on the lookout for when you do your alignment and placement. Is a shape like this will kind of become like a natural suction cup as it builds up, and if you're not careful, you can just wind up with like just a thick Oreo-like cookie is stuck to your FEP at the bottom of your resin vat. So what you want to do is, if you can do it like this, build plate like here, and then have the this, really go slow as you can. You may want to have at least a couple good baseline um, layers put down before you start printing, and then um, maybe even just go crazy and just put as many supports on the bottom of this as you can. And as it goes down, and if you're going to print this with, you're not going to really see it, how almost totally empty, how much empty space is in this particular base. Um, as it prints, it will basically become like a natural suction cup. And yeah, as you can see, I had to drill holes in this. This is something. An object like this is definitely a good candidate for drain holes. Uh, so this is something I actually did printed about 3 or 4 of these before I finally hit on me that what was happening, and this was really irritating. But yeah, it's kind of some of the failure stuff. I've not really had too many problems with the Elegoo Saturn, and main big suggestion so far is to cut your speeds down by a third or a half, and be sure you do a nice long. Trying to remember what the resin suggestions were. It was like not even 30 to 60 seconds for your base layers, and just go slow from there. And you shouldn't have really any kind of too many failures. But anyway, I just kind of thought I'd share some of the problems I've been having in case you're having a bad day and are having trouble too. So anyway, this is Curtis Slayer signing off, and catch y'all again later.